All right, thanks so much for joining. So today I'm going to show you how you can create this really cute thermometer-based fundraising flyer for your next community fundraising event. And obviously you can send out updates as you raise additional money to get your community excited and raise even more money. So before we get started, I do want to point out that I do have a YouTube channel that has lots of different videos, everything from making numbered raffle tickets to making water bottle labels. But more importantly, I have a video called Searching Fonts, Installing Fonts, and Using Symbols. If you do not know how to download and install new fonts, you will need to watch this video, as I am using quite a few unique fonts for this particular flyer. So first thing we're going to start off is getting the background done, and then we're going to put the thermometer in first. And the reason we're going to do this is for those of you that have watched a number of my other videos and already know how to do this piece of it. We're going to get the thermometer piece done first. If you already have a vision of what you want your flyer to look like, and you can kind of bow out and make it look however you want once you get that piece done. But I will show you how to make the flyer in its entirety during this video. All right, so the very first thing we want to do is we want to go to File, New, Blank Document. We want to go to Page Layout. We want to go to Margins, and we want to go to Narrow. Reason we want to do narrow is we just want more real estate to work with. Next thing we want to do is we want to insert a shape, and we are going to insert a rectangle and just click anywhere on the page. Then we want to left click while the image is down and move it up to the top till you see those two green arrows intersect, or those two green lines intersect. Then you want to go down to this little bottom square, and then you want to left click and move it all the way down till once again those intersect. And again, this is just going to help you with spacing and making sure everything's centered. Now let's go ahead and get this sort of textured green background. This actually started off as a chalkboard flyer, and I wasn't liking the way it looked, so I changed the color, and I quite like that kind of textured, lightly textured look on the background. So let's go ahead and keep that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Google. If you want to use Yahoo or Bing, please feel free. I'm going to type in the words chalkboard, long, large, free, clip art. If you want to, you could also just do chalkboard, free clip art, chalkboard, large, free clip art. But you want to click on images once you've done that. And I think it's this one that I've used, but you could use virtually any chalkboard image as long as there is no border around it. So from here, we're going to go ahead and do a file, save picture as. We're going to save it on our desktop video thermometer. I already have it in here, so I'm not going to save it again, or I can. It's fine. I could save it again. And we are going to go back here. Now with this image selected, I want to click on Format. I want to do a shape fill, and I want to click into Picture. When I click into Picture, I'm going to go from File. I want to do Chalkboard, and I want to insert it. Now what I want to do is I want to format the actual picture, not the box. I want to format the picture. So I want to click on Picture Tools, Format. I want to go all the way over to the left to Color, and I want to make that green. And now you have this nice kind of textured green background. I want to now go back to my drawing tools because I want to create the outline. So I want to do a shape outline of this orange color, and I want to do a shape outline weight of a 6-point font. Now what we need to do is we need to insert another shape, and we're going to insert another rectangle, and we're going to do this rectangle over here. With this object selected, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move it around in a fine-grained fashion. And we want to do a shape fill of, this orange, and we want to do a shape outline of either no outline or the orange. It doesn't really matter. All right, now we want to go ahead and create this goal, and then we'll add in the thermometer. All right, so we want to go ahead and insert a shape, and we want to do this 12-point font. You could find it down here for stars and banners. And, we want to insert a shape. We want to insert this 12. Okay, and let's go ahead move this up here. And we're going to format this, and we're going to do a shape fill of this aqua color and a shape outline of the aqua color. Now, if you don't, if you don't have this aqua color as sort of a default, and you won't, what you want to do is go to more fill colors, go to the standard colors, and you can find, you know, for instance, this color, and then you can just make it slightly darker. Once you have this, we want to insert our goal number. So we're going to go ahead and do an insert text box. We're going to draw a text box. And we are going to do a couple things. First, we're going to do a shape fill of a no fill and a shape outline of a no outline because we don't want that ugly text box. Then we want to type in goal, and we want to type in $350,000. We want to highlight the text. We want to go home, and we want to do a couple things. First thing we want to do is we want to center it. Next thing we want to do is ensure the line spacing is single space. So you go to that line spacing options, click on 0, and click on single space. Next thing we want to do is we want to make this white font with a black background. We then want to change the font size to 22. And the font I used is KG blank space solid. Make this a little bit smaller. There we go. All right, now let's go ahead and get our thermometer. So what we want to do here is go back to Google. And we want to, again, you can use Bing or Yahoo. We want to type in Fundraiser Thermometer clipart.png. And you do have to have that .png in there because you want to get an image that has a transparent background. So meaning this thermometer is going to be white and everything else is going to be background, or it's going to be transparent, versus this one, everything's going to be white. You see the white background? If you put this in that document, you would have a big white border around that, and that's not what you want. You want to have just the thermometer being white and nothing else around it. So we're going to go ahead and do a save picture as fundraising thermometer. Yes. And again, that was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the 6th one in. It was called freeiconspng.com is where I found that. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to insert a picture, and we want to insert our thermometer. And obviously it inserted the picture, the thermometer behind our picture. So we want to click on layout options. We know the thermometer is selected because we see these little white boxes, right? So we want to click on here, and we want to say in front of text. Now we have our thermometer. Obviously we don't want the Baz, bar, and foo. So we are going to ensure that this thermometer is selected. We're going to click on format. We're going to click on crop. And we're going to wait till we see that little T, and then we're going to left click and move that T over, and now those disappeared. Now from here, we can just move the thermometer up to the top here, and then we can go ahead and move the cursor down to the bottom left, and we can drag and drop and make that larger. There we go. So from here, we need to add in our numbers. So we want to insert a text box. We want to draw a text box. And we want to make this $0. And let's go ahead and go home, and let's make this a 18-point font, and let's make that bold. Now obviously we don't want this ugly text box around it, so we want to click on format, do a shape fill of no fill, a shape outline of no outline. And we can do this. Now what we can do here is we can right click, we can do copy, we can right click, and we can do paste. And we can do paste, and we can do paste. And then we can very easily just move and I did the math obviously ahead of time, and realized what the breakdown is versus the number of tickers. So you would obviously have to do that math depending on how much money you're planning on raising. And let's do 105,000. And then we can go ahead again, oopsies, do a copy. And then we can do paste, paste, paste. And we can move this up. We can move this up. And we can move this up. And 140. And this is 175. And this is 210. Oops. And we can do a copy, paste, paste, and a paste. Almost done with this boring part. All right. 210. Let's do 245. Let's do a 280. And let's do a 315. All right. All right. Now the final part is let's go ahead and fill in this thermometer. What we want to do is we want to do an insert. We want to do a shape. And we want to do a circle. We just want to click down here. And you just want to move the circle and grab it and drive it. There we go. And we want to do a format, and we want to do a shape outline of no outline, and we want to do a shape fill of red. Now we want to insert a shape again, and we want to insert a rectangle. And then from here, you can just draw your rectangle. And you want to do a format and a shape fill and a shape outline of no outline, or you can do a shape outline of the red. It's kind of up to you. And that's how you can very easily create the thermometer piece. But now if you want to take a look and see how I created the rest of the flyer, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. From here, and just a note to point is as you hit your different milestones, you can obviously move this up and down, and you could obviously print this to PDF and mail this out. Okay, so let's do the rest of this. Let's go ahead and do an insert text box, and we're going to draw a text box, and we're going to draw our header up here. Obviously, we want to do formats. We want to do a shape fill of no fill for the text box and a shape outline of no outline. And we want to write 2019, 2020, Tassajara Hills Hawks. And we want to highlight this, and we want to click on home, and we want to do a couple things. We want to center this. We also want to change the line spacing options and make this single spaced. We also want to make this white, and we want to change the font size to 40. And the font that I used is KG Broken Vessel Sketch. Now obviously you can, change the text box and make it larger or smaller depending on how many words you have, and you can obviously change the font size as well. All right, now let's add in this thank you. So what we want to do is we want to insert a shape, and we are going to insert our curved down ribbon, which is found right here under stars and banners. And we're going to go ahead and put that right here. Now, you see here we have a bunch of white boxes, but you can also see that we have a couple yellow boxes. The yellow boxes is what's going to allow us to make changes to this particular object. So I want to make this part much bigger. And again, you can make changes to the dimensionality of this particular object. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make it look the way I want it to look. Then I want to go ahead and click on Format, and I want to change the fill. And I think this was the color aqua that I used. And I want to do a shape outline. I'm going to do just a little darker of the aqua. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to insert a text box, and I want to say thank you. So I am going to put this here, and again, format, you want to do a shape fill of no fill, a shape outline of no outline, and then I'm going to write thank you. And I am going to highlight this, and again, I'm going to go home. I'm going to center this. I'm going to change the font to white, and I actually did do an outline on this. It prints out quite nice. It doesn't look great when you look at it on the screen, but it prints out really nice. And the font I used is called Beyond Infinity Demo. You can do a search for that online. And the font size is 72. And again, up close, you can see kind of how that prints out. It actually prints out quite nice. All right. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a small change to this, and you could click on Format. With the text selected, you can click on Format, and you could actually transform this and have it kind of curve down a little bit or curve up. I think it looks just fine like that, but if you wanted to, I was kind of playing with that a little bit, and I'm not sure if I ended up putting the curve in or not, but that's kind of up to you. So then finally, we just need to add in the bulk of our text here. So we're going to go ahead and insert another text box. So we're going to draw a text box, and we're going to say, please help us fund. And again, with this text box, we're going to click on Format, Shape Fill of No Fill, Shape Outline of No Outline. We're going to go home. We're going to make this white. We are going to make this a 26-point font. And the font we used is KG Chasing Pavements. Okay. Now, what I did for Please Help Us Fund is I put in little bullet points. So I'm going to go ahead and do an insert shape, and this is what I used. It's the pentagon, but it's like the pentagon found under arrows. And I did 6 of them. So 1, let's do a copy, and let's do paste, 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 paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And then you can just move these down. I think I made these maybe a little too big. I apologize about that. There we go. Let's do copy. Now let's do paste 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So once you have all of your bullets, you're then going to want to go ahead and obviously make some formatting changes so they're not that blue color. So you're going to want to go ahead and click on Format. You want to do Shape Fill, and you want to do that same aqua color and do a shape outline of no outline. And we want to do a shape fill of white and a shape outline of no outline. And we want to do a shape fill of this orange color and a shape outline of no outline. And we want to do a shape fill of, I think it was that aqua color, a shape outline of no outline. And a shape fill of white, and a shape outline of no outline. And finally a shape fill of this orange and a shape outline of, no, outline. Okay. All right, and now from here, all we have to do is insert a couple more text boxes and we are pretty much done. So insert text box, put it right here. Obviously, shape fill of no fill, shape outline of no outline, and para-educators in every classroom. We want to go home. We want to make this white. We want to change the font to 20, and this was KG Chasing Pavement. And we can do a copy and we can do a paste. And we can just make changes to music program and teacher. And the other thing we want to do though, which I apologize I forgot, is we do want to click on this and we want to go home and we want to ensure that the line spacing options are single spaced. It's just going to move those lines a little closer together. There we go. And if we want to, we could even move these in a little bit. Gives a little bit more room for writing. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And let's go ahead and do a copy. And let's go ahead and do paste. And this one is reading. Reading specialist. And let's do paste. Oops. Let's do paste. Let's go down here and type in additional librarian hours. And we can click here and we can do a paste. Technology, Chrome, books, and iPads. And we can move this down here. And then finally, paste our last one, which is one part-time office assistants. And there we go. And then finally, I think I did also insert our PTA logo here on the top. And again, we want to do in front of text. And that is how you can create a thermometer flyer using nothing but Microsoft Word and a browser. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please like my video and or subscribe to my channel. I do monitor the chat lines, so please feel free to send me a comment as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you found this useful.